Welcome to a very special edition of Pop Culture Talk. This one is going to have a little bit more of a personal flavor for us, and you'll see that as we progress. But here we have, you all know Ken Lee. He's our Crankfile comic blogger and star of our video blogs. Yep. And he has a very special project that he's going to share with us tonight, and we're very excited for him and for what it holds actually for our younger audience as well. So without any further delay, let's get to it. And so, Ken, what do you have there in your hands?
Yeah, there's a little book right there.
Well, I got a little book. Yeah, I got this little kid's book. It's a kid's book that this is a kid's book that I did with my friend Eric Belcher. It's a friend that I've had since grade school. We've known each other since I think like first grade. Mm-hmm. He has a couple of kids, and he came to me a few months ago with this idea that he wanted to do a children's book.
A few months ago?
A few months ago. I'd say he probably came to me around August. Actually, it's been about just over a year.
Just over a year.
Just over a year.
A few months.
A few months.
Yeah.
Cracked out a whole book.
It feels like it's been.
Wow.
It feels like it's been
wow.
It happened really quick. It's been a really fast process.
And you've got a full finished product already.
So he came to me with this idea back in July, and honestly, I didn't think anything of it when he first came to me with the story. He comes with ideas all the time. Like he has a million ideas about movies and shows and books that he's gonna write. None of them really pan out. So he came to me, and he knows that I do illustration, and he asked me if I'd be interested in working this book on this book with him. I actually didn't think that he would follow up with it, so I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, write a script.
No problem. I'll talk to you the next time you have an idea, too.
Didn't actually expect him to bring me anything, and he did. And he brought me a script, and I read it, and I was like, okay, it's not great. He says, okay. He's like, yeah, okay, it's not great. He went back, worked on it again. He came back a couple weeks later. He brought me a second script, and it was actually really good. And it was really cute. The story is basically about a red balloon, and it travels and it picks up these animals along the way, and they go on this adventure, and eventually they try to get to the moon. So the book is The Red Balloon's Journey to the Moon, and you can see it's got this little wraparound cover here.
And this is your artwork
excellent.
Here on the
yes,
cover?
so I did the artwork
Very nice.
for the story. We just finished our Kickstarter on this.
Yep.
We launched our Kickstarter back in July, and we originally were planning on trying to raise $2,500, and that was going to cover our cost for printing, shipping, and the ISBN. We ended up raising $6,000 for this book.
That's awesome.
So that means
awesome.
we're just super excited about it. Chris was generous enough to basically put a nice pledge on the Kickstarter down, and he's going to be selling the book in shop.
We will be. That's right. We've got a nice young audience out here in Uxbridge, and I feel that they would really love a book like this. The parents certainly would love to read, this to their kids. And I think perhaps we'd even have an opportunity to have you and Eric come in and maybe even do a reading for some children at the shop, which would be absolutely amazing.
Do a reading, do a meet and greet. We'll sign books and whatever, sing and dance for you.
So we'll be looking for details on that. Hopefully, we're seeing a November timeframe, as I believe what was mentioned.
Yep.
As when the full production run will be available.
So the book's in print right now. The printing process takes about 3 weeks. They should be ready maybe September and mid-September. And then from there it's about 5 to 7 weeks for shipping. So we're looking at getting books into people's hands during November. So just in time for the holiday season.
Excellent.
Perfect. Now, I do have to ask, I know you said that this process started, back in July of last year. Your relationship with Eric goes back, though, to your childhood.
Yes.
Right? So when did you become friends with Eric?
We knew each other through grade school. We actually grew up around the same neighborhood. We've been friends forever. All throughout high school, throughout college. We've just been able to stay in touch over the years. It's really nice to still have that connection. And it's really cool to be able to work with somebody on.
I know I wish I had really old friends like that.
It's kind of nice, you know. It's come to realize I used to think that was a pretty normal thing that people just have friends that they had for over decades, but
Yep.
it's pretty rare to be able to keep those connections.
It's tough, and it's even more rare that you know, you can begin a friendship that might not be based on something like a mutual interest, such as this, but
Well,
then
it is.
it produces, that becomes the fruit of that friendship, right?
Yes, and
That
this was
you
like
can.
that's part of the reason why I really enjoyed working on this too, because like I was working with somebody that was my friend. So like when we were brainstorming and getting together to work on the book, it wasn't so much as work. It was just kind of we're hanging out, and just,
Yeah.
you know, pitching ideas, talking about what's going on in our lives. It was great. It
I
was a
feel
really
like
fun experience.
so he gave you the script and you kind of had to illustrate based on what you read from the script.
So he gave me a script. We went over a few sessions of storyboarding where
Yep.
basically
Okay.
we'd go over, went through the script, like, all right, what do you see for this layout? How do you see this line being
Mhm.
laid out? And we just kind of rough sketched out what, like, the storyline was going to be, how it would be presented, what the flow was going to be.
And this is the first time you've ever illustrated for a book before? Or-
Yes.
So do you feel like perhaps the fact that he was such a close and old friend that it made it a lot easier for you to kind of translate his story into imagery?
I think he had such a firm idea of what he had. His vision on what the book was going to be was very clear about how he kind of saw certain shots, like certain pages being kind of laid out.
Yeah.
What he thought how it would look. It was just basically my job to kind of bring it to life. Kind of give it its a distinct style. So I was trying to do something that was very very much cartoony, very simplistic but very cute animal figures. But other than that, like working with him as far as trying to plot out the actual scenes was pretty easy. And it doesn't hurt that it's a kid's book. I mean, we're not writing,
Yeah.
Sure.
It's not Shakespeare.
It's not, but there's an art to this. I mean, I think there's a million people out there who have a concept or have written, books for kids, and they don't work. I mean, I've seen people try to do it, and I think just from the look that I got at this book here before we started filming, I mean, I think you have really a winner on your hands, and yes,
I do too.
And my question now is like, where do you go from here? I mean, I know that it's a little premature. You're just getting this out, but are there any plans for you and Eric to perhaps follow up on this at some point?
Yeah, I think it depends on how the initial sales go.
Mhm.
Really, right now we're just focusing on marketing and selling this. But if this does become something that we see as our audience really takes to, and they might want to see more, we have the idea of taking this to a literary agent to have them pitch to a publisher to maybe do like a series of books. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
it wouldn't just be like the balloon going to the moon. It could be the balloon goes to the zoo and he meets all sorts of crazy animals there. We were talking just briefly when we were kind of celebrating the successful Kickstarter about what the next book was, and my friend Eric already has an idea of like a holiday book where the red balloon goes to the North Pole. It's kind of like a take on like Rudolph.
Yep.
So
Cool.
we have ideas, and we'd love this to be something that we can continue to work on. But even if it doesn't, if it just ends up being this one book that we publish,
Yep.
We're still super proud of it, and
Yep.
we couldn't be happier about the reception that we've gotten from everyone. Everyone's been super positive and supportive about it, so that's made the whole experience excellent.
Awesome. It's nice that you can, go through this, the creation process, and have enough joy and passion about it that it makes you want to do more.
Yes.
Especially, it's because that's not your background. Your background is, it's not in illustration necessarily. You have the talent for it, clearly.
Yeah. We
but
both
it's
have
not-
like other jobs, like
Right.
we both work full-time jobs. Eric has a family of 5, so
Yep.
we were just kind of doing this in our spare time. And the only reason why we were able to pull this off successfully is because we were friends and because we both were just passionate about the project.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's excellent. We wish you a lot of luck, Ken. We're very proud of you, and I look forward to meeting Eric one of these days soon. And and we can't wait to have you guys here with a bunch of little kiddies enjoying your work.
Can't wait to see the book on the shelves here.
Nice
There it
work,
is.
Ken.
Thanks, man. Red Balloon Goes to the Moon. Gonna be on sale in November.